entered one competition in my belly dance life, and it was a beautiful, gorgeous day in Connecticut. I was going to do a veil dance, very well prepared. All the other contestants, when they got on stage, weather was beautiful, they did their dance, they went off. Soon as I get on stage, windstorm like you would not believe. I was waiting for hail and frogs and storms. The trees were swaying, the dressing room that they set up for us blew away, and it was like heavens and earth opened up and it was about to pour on me. So I did my dance, struggling with my veil, completely had to improvise, couldn't do what I planned. And the second that I got off the stage, sunshine and the wind stopped. It was really unbelievable, and my luck. But I won a trophy, so it was all good.
I had been hired by the wife of the birthday boy. It was his 40th birthday. Lovely Italian restaurant in the private room. So I would say like 60, 70 people, one of those kind of round rooms with the tables around the outside, dance floor in the middle. And doing my usual AMCAB format, my opening song, I'm floating around the room, checking out the space, checking out the crowd. And as I go by, I notice a very pretty brunette, well-dressed, the whole place was well-dressed, sitting with her man. And she's got that tight smile on, but the eyes are cold, and they're kind of sending scary messages to me. And since it's not my first day at the rodeo, I make a mental note, stay away from this table. This girl doesn't want me anywhere near her. Go on, the show progresses, get the birthday boy going, and he was great. He was a total live wire. You know, he'd been imbibing some birthday beverages, but he was in control. He was just having the time of his life. It was a pleasure to work with him. Show progresses, and we're kind of getting the audience involved, and I'm letting the birthday boy drive. He knows his people, so I'm like, okay, who do you want to get to dance? Well, sure enough, we work our way over to that table, and the girl is stiffening as we approach. And those cold eyes are becoming like laser beams shooting daggers now. And we get to the table, trying to get the guy up to dance. And she has her evening bag and she's holding it and she snaps it open and she says to me, I'll give you $10 if you get away from this table. And I'm like a little taken aback because that's like very hostile. Birthday boy isn't quite picking up on this yet. So I'm kind of trying to laugh it off, you know, oh, isn't this funny? And he still gets this other gentleman up and we kind of get him onto the floor. I would say that guy got to do about 2 hip wiggles before she came shooting out from that table, shoved that $10 bill in the side of my hip belt, snatched him by the arm, and dragged that man back to the table. And now the birthday boy, you know, we've gotten through the birthday beverage haze, and he realizes this is not a good scenario. So we kind of laugh and go and move on to the next people, and the show keeps going, and everyone's having fun. And I hope we end on a positive note. So afterwards, I am in my dressing room, which is also the public bathroom, and the client comes in, and I did apologize to her and say, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset anyone, even though I don't feel I had done anything wrong, and really would have avoided that table if I could have. But she was totally cool with it. She's like, oh, don't worry, don't worry. And then I overheard her complaining about this brunette and how she had, you know, had this little hissy fit in the middle of the party. So I felt very vindicated. But the whole thing was just kind of proof that even when you see that train wreck coming, you can't always stop it. Sometimes all you can do is mitigate the damage.
One Sunday afternoon, I got a call from a manager of a popular Turkish restaurant, and he said, we have a high-profile birthday party here, and the birthday boy is asking for a belly dancer. So I came and I opened my show for the large birthday party with my signature act, balancing a tray of burning candles on my head. And the audience was very receptive, everybody was in awe and clapping happily and taking pictures for the entire 2 minutes until suddenly the music died. The music died completely. It happens sometimes to stereo systems in nightclubs and all these venues. So I just kept dancing. I was playing my finger cymbals and I got people to clap. And so they were creating this music and I was dancing. And another couple minutes into my show, I realized they didn't even notice that there was no music. Literally, nobody noticed there was no music. But it was going on and going on, no music. I was desperately trying to catch the eyes of waiters or the manager who were running around with rather panicked expression on their faces. And I didn't have any information, so no music. Then I struck the grand pose, big applause, again, just as it should be, right, with no music. I took the candle tray off my head and started offering it to guests at the party to try to balance it and to take pictures. So everybody's taking pictures, the person is balancing the tray. Of course, I'm holding the tray behind their head, so they don't really have to balance it. And there they're taking pictures with a beautiful belly dancer. Big fun, it's going on. Then suddenly one of the waiters whispered in my ear, the sound system at the restaurant failed. There will be no music. And then I catch the eyes of the restaurant manager in the doorway, and he is like, nothing can be done, just cut it, not a big deal. And I felt so bad because I thought, I haven't even taken pictures with the birthday boy. And he was a very warm and gregarious guy in his 50s. And there was his glamorous wife and his brothers and other members of the family and well-heeled people from work. And they were very warm and receptive toward me. So I just finished the tray section and I kept playing my finger cymbals, got people to clap to a certain beat, and I invited the birthday boy to dance. And so he got up. I quickly taught him a couple moves, you know, swaying his hips right, left, and maybe shaking his hips. He was super enthusiastic. People were taking video and pictures, and there were all these flashes of cell phone cameras around. And he was so vigorous in his activities that all of a sudden, the belt of his pants came undone, and his pants fell all the way to the floor, leaving him standing there in boxer shorts. Thinking back to that event, I hope the design on those shorts was somewhat dignified, but I felt absolutely terrible and terrified. I kind of lost it for like a minute or so, but he handled it very well. Everybody was roaring with laughter, taking millions of pictures. He made it look like a joke, and I, jumped on it and helped him create a little comedy routine out of it to make it look good. But can you believe it? I've told this story a million times, and every time when I tell it, I think, do people actually believe it happened to me? Because it totally sounds like it is some kind of urban myth of belly dance. That's how classic it is. But it actually happened to me.